So, in exactly 2 months, you will release the new album, The Great War.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
2 months exactly.
Yes. And how are your feelings about that?
Nervous, of course. I mean, it's like our baby. You know, we've done everything we can, and now she's going off to college. And let's see how she makes it in the real world. Okay. You know, it's been we've been living with this for. I guess we started properly. I mean, working with it with the intention of making an album about the Great War a year ago.
Okay.
So it's a long time in the making.
Right. How many songs have you written for the album, and which criteria must be filled to make it on this?
Both the story and the song must be good, otherwise they don't go. And sometimes our favorite topics don't end up on the album, especially in the case where, well, I had this idea, and I think it was the perfect idea, was, for example, Harlem Hellfighters. African American fighting unit really proving themselves in the Great War, and it would have been a great story. And you know, as a heavy metal type track name, you know, Harlem Hellfighters, it doesn't get cooler than that. But we didn't have the right music. I was also sure we'd do something along the lines of the Brusilov Offensive. Oh, there's so much. But it seems like for every topic we choose, 10 get left behind. I mean, musically, let's say for every song we write, 2 other songs have to be taken out, and it's hard to describe. You know, every album is a little bit different, and every time you do something, the end result doesn't end up being the same. You know, you tried. You know, so I don't know. It's really exciting times, but I feel good about it.
Okay. How was the time in the studio? Tell me more about it. Maybe some funny things or the working process.
Well, while the actual songwriting process and composition of songs, research and everything was really tough on this one. Lots of performance anxiety. I can honestly say that the studio recording, that was a fucking easy blast, you know, okay. Amazing. For example, our lovely drummer Hannes arrived on Monday, I think it was, or I can't remember which day, but the first day, anyway. And yeah, he was ready on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Very fast.
Yeah. Everybody was very well prepared, and which is good because that leaves room for, you know, being creative and experimental later in the process. So no, it was really a good time in the studio, and to see how fast the basics come together. Because usually doing the groundwork is usually takes some time, but in this case I think almost everything except vocals and extra stuff and mixing was done in a very short amount of time. So really a nice time in the studio.
Cool. You entered the studio 100 years after the end of the First World War. Mm-hmm. And why do you, who has the idea to do this?
Well, it's like a lucky chance. Every time we go into, you know, songwriting mode, of course we always do historical research because we love history. So it's not like we start reading history books when we're doing an album. We always read them, and you know, I love to write music, so I'm always going to write music. But when we sort of start to focus on a new album, we always work with like 2 or 3 topics. Like, should it be about this or this? And some of them have been there for some time, but we have to choose the ones that are 2 criteria. 1, where the music is going. We got to think of that. And what do we feel passionate about? Okay. Because if we tell stories we're passionate about, there's a bigger chance of that translating into good music, you know. Yeah. And at that point, we realized that some of the songs, there were song ideas we had floating around, were a bit darker. So we thought, this is the Great War, and we already had the plans that we were going to record later in the year. But when we decided, okay, we're going to do the Great War, of course we're going to start the recordings on the 11th of November. So it's not like a master plan we had for 15 years. But of course, when we realized what we're going to do, it's like, yeah, we have to.
Okay. Your influences to write your music, where do you get it?
Oh, that's tricky. It could be anything actually. It could be a movie, it could be a book, it could be anything. Usually for me, when writing music, the emotional response is the most important. I don't know, it's probably me who's fucked up because I don't work like normal people do. But if I hear a song and I really, like it, and I'm gonna write music, I'm not gonna be inspired by the guitar riff or the vocal melody. I'm gonna be inspired by the emotional reaction I have to that song, and taking that reaction, turning it into music. So that works well for me for at least a movie as well and everything.
Okay.
I'm not that dependent on other notes or other music to create music, but I'm heavily dependent on an emotional response.
Okay. And are you listening to other bands to get this inspiration?
Almost never. 9 times out of 10 it's from a book, TV series, documentary, stuff like that, or just an experience I had myself. I fell down the stairs and I got fucking angry, so it became an aggressive song,
Okay.
Sometimes it is that easy.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend anyone, by the way, for full disclosure, don't fall downstairs to write songs. It hurts. Don't do it.
Great to say it. Your preparations for a tour, tell me more about this.
Right now we are in the process of getting everything ready. We did a show in Pilsen 2 weeks ago or something like that, and then we played in Malta just 1.5 weeks ago, I think it was. And we premiered a lot of stuff, but not everything in Pilsen. We have built a totally new stage set. We have saved the tank. That one was the only thing that could stay. Everything else had to go.
Right.
Over the years, obviously, as we've grown as a band, we've added more and more stuff. But that has been the thing. It's usually a thing where we've gotten bigger, so we add something. But we keep the old stuff. Now we thought we are bigger, so we could add stuff. But then it's let's do something different. So we took everything away, and now everything is inspired by, on the stage at least, of the Great War. There is, totally new stage set, pyro show, new stage clothes for most people, and so it was really nice with a fresh start, actually. And also having that, it makes sense for us now to put some old fan favorites back into rotation. So, this is our first concept or themed album about the Great War, but we have covered events from this period before. So, let's say Price of a Mile is a pretty popular song among the hardcore fan community, but we haven't played it on the last 2 or 3 tour rotations, maybe once or twice, but not everywhere, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So now it makes perfect sense to put that song back into the spotlight, because I think it belongs, in the stage with these guys. So that's a cool thing, a nice thing to do actually. Looking forward to that.
Great. Well, when can we see you here in Germany again?
There's going to be some festivals this summer, and after those festivals, in the middle of the summer, as the festivals pass by, there's going to be tour dates announced.
Okay.
So there will be a tour, absolutely, and you won't be having to wait long. But the festival promoters don't want us to talk about our touring plans, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know it. But I'm very excited to see it again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It's been a long time with very few shows, and it's under my skin now. I want to get out and tour.
Okay. I heard the album a few minutes ago, and you have some specific persons on the songs. And why do you choose only them, other persons?
Well, it could be the ones that we had the right music. We felt that it connected with the story. It could be that they were extremely fascinating. T.E. Lawrence, most known as Lawrence of Arabia, such an amazing story, and all the legends and everything, the sabotages and the siege of Medina and everything that happened around him. So fascinating. But on the other hand, not really important at all in the big picture, you know.
Okay.
It didn't really matter. But sometimes that's not the thing. I mean, we want to try and create a roller coaster, both musically and emotionally and lyrically. So we have the introduction of tanks, so we have to be something more mechanical, more industrial, that can be heard in that song. So we're talking about a piece of technology. Lawrence of Arabia, we're moving on, focusing on a person. We have, well, let's say, the Great War. Great War is the name of the song, where a soldier starts questioning what's so fucking great about it, basically. You know, what are those lies we've been told? We have other places where we can kind of celebrate somebody's courage, you know, without, you know, putting any right or wrong thing in there. You know, we are controversial enough as it is without telling people what's wrong or right. And yeah, I guess we have a lot of hints on the artwork here on what's to be expected on the album. So we want it to be both musically and lyrically, and also the angles we cover them from, to be a bit of a roller coaster ride. So when you're listening to the whole album, it's like, whoa, you know,
okay,
keeps you on your feet.
So I think I have only one question left. What is your secret about to grow more and more? I'm listening to your band since more than 10 years, and your stage shows are bigger and bigger. And can you tell me the secret?
Well, it's not a secret actually. It's very simple. We were the last band that did cassette. The last generation of bands that, you know, had made our demos with cassettes, for example. We were the first band that burned our own CDs, and that goes through as well. We were the last bands of the old style of the music business and the first new one. We always had to keep ourselves on our toes to survive, because you know, I'm not talking about the music industry itself, but rather record sales has been dropping. But we are fortunate enough, thanks to a lot of you guys, to have become bigger on every album. Maybe it was, you know, a little bit of a big step, maybe it was a little step, but everywhere there is always a certain natural growth. But we never had an explosion, which is fine, but a steady upstream. And that means, of course, yes, if we get bigger, we're gonna make more money. And that means we can put more money into the stage show. And we don't want to be, I mean, being in what I meant with this first generation of new and last generation of old taught us you cannot stand still. You have to constantly look at things. Can we do it better? What do we want to do? And look forward. And in a way, that's what we're trying to do. And hopefully that can keep on growing then. I mean, it would be amazing to have that continuous growth. I'm pretty sure it's not a world record. But at least within heavy metal, I'm not so sure that it's that many bands who have been going for 20 years can say that every album they made sold more than the previous one.
Really? Okay.
So
that's awesome.
Thank you guys, both old and new fans. You know. But it's also, as we get bigger, we reach out to more people.
Yes.
And that's a lovely thing. And we have a good position to be in, because people who like melodic metal and don't like the extreme stuff, we're still okay. And some people who like harder stuff can still be okay with us in many cases, because we don't do high-pitched vocals, we don't sing about dragons. Also, we have the historical thing going for us, so a whole lot of people discovered us. They might be casual music listeners, but they're not a part of the metal community, even though they enjoy rock and roll or metal. But then, maybe they heard, oh, this battle, did the band do a song about this? My grandfather fought there. So, in a way, that crazy idea we had of let's sing about military history 15 years ago has really, fueled our own passion for history and, helped the machine to become what it is today.
Okay, fine. So, all questions are done.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Well, thank you. I think it's a natural evolution of where it was going. Without the streaming services, there would still be DC++ or Kazaa or Napster, depending on what it was. It was a natural evolution of it, and I mean everything. If it wasn't for the music industry doing it, everybody's doing it. You have that kind of evolution within applications for your computer. Even if you're getting on Microsoft Office these days, it's on a subscription basis. And in a way, for the music industry, in one way, it's fucked up. In one way, I like it. A lot of money is going to other people than the ones created the music and invested in the band, in a way. Might they be the booking agents? Might they be the everyone around the band, not only the musicians themselves. But there's also a democratization happening with new technology like streaming. Every stream counts. Yeah, you don't get much per stream, trust me, it's almost nothing. But if you make a really, really good album that people keep on listening to and listen again and again and again, those are the ones that will win. If you are really hot for 1 year, you will make a lot of money 1 year. But then that's it.
No.
If people don't listen, no cash. So, while as in the record sales day, if somebody bought an album, which would be quite a larger, substantial amount of money per, per fan, I guess, of the band. On the other hand, you would make equally much money if that fan only listened to it once or for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's true.
So, in that way, if somebody these days manages to make immortal music that people keep on listening and listening and listening to, that pays off. And that aspect of it I like, actually.
You remind your Spotify statistics from last year? How many streams you had?
No, I don't remember.
No.
Sorry. I've looked at them some time and then I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, Spotify isn't that bad, you think? And then you look at how many streams you have. It's like, yeah, for fuck's sake, come on! I don't mind, it's the way things work. I'm not at all slagging Spotify or, YouTube or Apple Music. Everybody's sniping for the piece of the cake, and we can sit and bitch about it, or we can adapt to the system, or try to change the system, or just do the fucking best thing we can. We figured out that the best way for us forward is to focus on making as good music and telling as good stories as possible. And then the technology and everything around there, it'll be better for us in the end than wasting energy thinking about what's good and bad of the music industry.